Welcome to Time of Death. This video is for informational purposes and in no way meant to glorify or condone violence. In today's video, we'll be discussing the murder of Robert Brandon Halomo. Halomo was shot and killed on Tuesday, February 8, 2011, in the 600 block of West I Street in Wilmington, according to LA County coroner records. Romy Guimeri was subsequently arrested and charged with the murder. The following is the evidence at trial. On February 8, 2011, around 2 a.m., Andrew Anderson and the victim, Robert Halomo, were standing outside of a house on I Street in Wilmington. Anderson and the victim were members of a gang, Westside Wilmas. They decided to walk to Anderson's girlfriend's house to smoke marijuana. Defendant and another person rode bicycles down the street toward Anderson and the victim, got off and put their bicycles down. Defendant and his companion were in the street on the other side of a parked truck from Anderson and the victim, who were on the sidewalk. Defendant was wearing a Washington Nationals baseball cap with a W on it, which was a symbol of the Westside Wilmas. Defendant pointed a gun at Anderson and asked, "Where you guys from?" Anderson replied, "I'm not from nowhere." Then Anderson recognized defendant, whom he had known for years because they used to live about a block away from each other. Anderson knew defendant as Beef and said, "Hey Beef, it's me," but defendant did not reply. The victim replied, "Westside Wilmas, Whale Hall Park." Defendant and the other person then shot the victim about 15 times. Anderson was shot in the leg. Anderson rode his bicycle to a bar down the street to ask for help. Defendant and his companion rode away in the opposite direction. LAPD officers James Brimberry and Amanda Rostacil responded to a call about a shooting at 2:24 a.m. Officer Brimberry found the victim face down on the sidewalk. Officer Rostacil called for an ambulance, but the victim was pronounced dead at the scene. Traces of methamphetamine and marijuana were found in the victim. There were strike marks on the fence behind where the victim was found, across the hood of a truck, and on a palm tree. Based on the location of the casings and bullet marks, Detective Rodriguez believed the evidence was consistent with the shooter standing near the left front tire of a parked truck. Detective Rodriguez further believed the evidence indicated that 2 firearms were used. LAPD officer Jane Kim conducted a brief interview of Anderson while he was in the hospital. Anderson identified one of the shooters as Beef and said he had known him for about 10 years. Officer Kim's report of the interview indicated that defendant did not ask Anderson and the victim, "Where you from?" Instead, Anderson told Officer Kim that defendant said, "What's up?" Anderson replied, "It's me, Andrew." Around 7 a.m., Detective Rodriguez interviewed Anderson at the police station. Anderson said defendant and his friend had shot the victim, and that defendant was from Westside Wilmas. Anderson identified defendant in a photo lineup. Based on the sound of the guns, Anderson believed one of the shooters had a revolver, and that one of the guns was a .22 or .25 caliber, and the other was a .38. The people presented extensive evidence about defendant's arrest and cell phone records, as well as testimony by a gang expert. The gang expert opined that defendant and the victim were in different factions of Westside Wilmas, or that the shooting could have been a disciplinary action within the gang. Following the trial, the jury convicted defendant Romy Guimeri of first-degree murder, assault with a firearm, and possession of a firearm by a felon. The jury also found true the gun and gang allegations. The court sentenced defendant to a total term of 62 years to life in prison. Robert Brandon Halomo was 35 years old at the time of death.